Good evening, people. Today, my show is Who Will You Follow and Why? And I want you to think about that. Who will you follow and why will you follow them? Or what will you follow and why would you follow it? But basically, who will you follow and why would you follow? This is designed to get you to think about your current state, think about perhaps who you chose to follow, who you chose to be your leader, whom you chose to be perhaps a significant person in your life, whether it's a significant person or a family member, brother, sister, cousin, or best friend. But who will you follow and why? So think about that as I bring you my comments for today, and make sure you, at the end of this podcast or during the podcast, put your comments up. Last week I didn't read the comments because Q usually does that, but this week I will read the comments. So leave your comments and I will read your comments. That'll be the last thing I do. I'll read your comments and I'll answer your comments. Two things that are in the news are Carly Russell and Donald Trump. And of course, we got to talk about the Democratic Party and the NAACP. Carly Russell is a resident of the state of Alabama, Jefferson County, Hoover. Carly Russell is a black female. I think she's in her 20s. Age doesn't really matter. But this has started, say, we're going to just go back to July the 11th. Now, she was abducted on the 13th of July as she left work. But on July the 11th, and what's the reason why I'm giving you a timeline of what happened is because on July the 13th, about say about 9:30, she called 911 and stated that she saw a child on the side of the highway and she pulled over. And of course, and then when she dialed 911, and then about 9:36, she called her brother's girlfriend, and while talking to her brother's girlfriend on the phone, she screamed and hollered. And of course, this upset the family. Now, all people like me, and perhaps a lot of you out there that's watching this podcast, really concerned about this. This is something unusual that's never happened, and I can tell you that money, the reward, went up to $60,000 for any information leading to her return or any information about what happened to her. And so when the police arrived there, her car was still running. Her Mercedes Benz was still running. Her cell phone was on the side of the road. Her Apple Watch was still in her purse. Her purse was there, and her wig was off her head. And they didn't see anything else. And of course, like I got to tell you guys this is that anytime you do anything, you got to expect that if you report somebody being shot, murdered, anything, any serious crime, with uh, with the eye in the sky, Big Brother's always watching. Google is everywhere. Cell phone towers, cell phone surveillance equipment is everywhere. And so, of course, the family came out that Saturday. They had a vigil and they was talking about her and they was asking for her return. Now, this had happened on a Thursday. But let's go back prior to this. She did a search over her cell phone, computer, whatever she searched. Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? That's one of the things that she searched for. And then, of course, before she went to work at 3 minutes after 1 a.m., she Googled how to take money from register without getting caught. Wow. And so that means that she wants to know how, in my opinion, my understanding is that if how to take money out of the cash register, that means the cash register doesn't belong to you. How to take money out of the cash register without getting caught. Okay, she Googled that. Okay, and then this is 1:03 a.m. And then at 2:13 the same day, she searched Birmingham bus station. At 2:35 on the same morning, this is July the 13th. This is the day she of the alleged abduction. And so one-way tickets, I guess she Googled to see what the cost of a one-way ticket to Nashville was. Okay, then at 12:10, she searched for movie taken. Now this is she's probably at work, and this is probably lunchtime. I don't know. She searched for the movie taken. At 8:20 p.m., surveillance video showed her concealing a bathrobe, toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business that she worked at prior to her departure. Now, Hoover Police, I got this information. This is what Hoover Police stated into the news media. Now, I gather from this, now that's stealing. Now, if she's concealing a bathrobe, toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. So now, my advice to Miss Russell is that you need an attorney at this point. You need an attorney because that's shoplifting right there. Okay, let's continue on. At 9:21, she leave. She's on I-59. So she made the 911 call at 9:34. But prior to that, she stopped at Target and got her a snack. Prior to that, she stopped and got food for her mother. She lived in Hoover. And so no sooner she pulled back up on the interstate, this is Thursday. Okay, I'm having connection issues. Let me see. Here, bear with me. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. I don't see where anything's gone on. I'm still going to troubleshoot it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to talk about this because um, if any of you are watching and you can send me a comment, I want you to know if you're picking me up or not. Send me a comment, something like that. Let me know. Okay, well, I'm just going okay, anyway, I put my chat up so that you can chat. And so now the thing by her reporting that she's while she's calling and screaming over the cell phone, now her phone is there and it's still on, meaning that it's something happened. So this is really very serious because the first thing you would think is that we're thinking thanks, Araya. We're thinking that perhaps this is human trafficking, and it goes on a lot. And if you're talking about a baby being outside at 9:30, now I gotta say this: if I saw a baby, a young baby walking on the side of the highway at 9:30 at night, I would be suspect. There's no way I would stop and get out of my car and investigate what's going on. I would dial 911. Maybe I would stay there. I don't know. Maybe I would have done the same thing. But either way, she returned home. On first, they got a phone call and said that she was at the Red Roof Inn. Now, the family did, and that was a hoax. She was not there. But the same day, now we're talking about July the 15th, about 7 p.m., someone called her family saying that she was at the Red Roof Inn in Vestavia Hills. This is an upscale neighborhood where millionaires live at in Jefferson County. Of course, I guess I'm assuming that the family contacted them and this wasn't true. But however, she did return home at 10:44 on foot. This is July the 15th. We're talking about gone for 2 days and return home on foot. Now you understand a car wasn't there. And so now she ended up going to UAB about 11:02. So after she gets there, they call, I guess they get emergency service there and take her to UAB, and UAB emergency room keep her overnight for evaluation. And they released her the next morning, July the 16th at 6 a.m. And of course, here's what I got to say to the Russell family. Do not let your daughter talk to the police. She should not talk to the police because this here is just the police says that I-459 is safe. And those of you that don't know what this is, when you're going to Atlanta from Mississippi, you hit 459 at exit 104. So and when you hit 459 at 104, it starts with mile marker 1. When you hit mile marker 10, that's the first exit for Hoover. So this happened around mile marker 11, that 11 where this alleged incident occurred. But Hoover Police Department has issued a statement saying that I-459 is safe. And they have found absolutely no evidence that there was an abduction. But they have found evidence of, my opinion, shoplifting. They have found that of filing a false report. How is this someone's going to be abducted and then walk back home and 2 days later. It seemed that this thing was carried out very clever, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, but she had to have an accomplice in this, whether it was a boyfriend or whether it was somebody else or somebody she just met. Maybe who don't know what's going on with her. She seemed to have character issues. This here is where you're doing research on how to steal money from a cash register without being detected. Also, taking things from your employee that you work for, that's embezzlement. So it seemed that something is going on here. So I wanted to talk about that. And so you can give your opinions about that. Of course, in my opinion, I'm glad that she's safe. I'm glad that she's okay. But it could have been so many things, and it makes you sad. It does. It makes you sad when you have family, you have children, and you want them to be okay. And then we live in a society where we trust people. We trust people to not harm us. We trust people to make sure that we're okay. And you know what I mean by that. We trust people not to perhaps we have such a giving heart, especially in the Black community. We're always helping, and so one of the things that we want to do when we see somebody in dire straits is that we want to help them. And so, Carly Russell, I'm glad that you're okay, but something's going on. I strongly suggest you hire an attorney and do not talk to the Hoover Police. Reason why I tell you, I mean, my advice to you is not to talk to the Hoover Police, is because if you have committed a crime, they are going to arrest you. And this is for all of you out there that perhaps, man, they see you. It's one thing that most businesses are like the leprechaun when he loses a coin, like me when I lose a child, like me when you mess with my child or my children. That's how I am. Most people that have businesses, like Walmart, casinos, all businesses have surveillance in there. They're watching their product because of pilferage among employees. So my advice to you, if you can't get it, then don't take it from somebody else. Do without. Another thing too, she left her cell phone there, folks. She should have took her cell phone with her. So they already got everything. They know everybody she done called, everybody she done talked to. They know everything that she done with her phone because they have what you call forensic analysis that will go in there and get everything up out of there. They have that technology. They don't even have to contact your phone company. Most police stations or departments have that technology in their department to dump your phone and get everything off it. Everything you do on your phone stays in the cloud. You can delete all you want to. It does not take it out of the cloud. You know, Fred pointed out something to me. Folks, do you know, hey Siri, hey Google, do you realize that they're listening? You need to unlock your iPhone first. Y'all heard that? See that? This is my phone talking to me, and I went talking to my phone. So that means that my phone hears me 24/7 if it's near me. So if it's something that you're saying and you don't want anybody else to know about it, you better not say it by your phone. And so I want to thank Fred for that, because this thing here is dangerous, folks. You better get you a flip phone like the Dice Man. The Dice Man got, what's up, bro, Dice? The Dice Man has a flip phone. Two Belt had a flip phone until I think the flipper part broke on it, and they didn't sell them no more. So Two Belt wife, Miss Two Belt, went and got him an Android phone. And you can't beat Two Belt. I mean, I like this thing, but Two Belt don't know all these things on this phone yet. Two Belt steady trying to figure it out, because Two Belt love and miss his flip phone. No, I was just putting my little comic in there on the Two Belt, you know, but Two Belt know how to work all his phones and everything. You know, he can fix anything. You can't got to do my calling. And the Dice Man, that's Gadget Man. He can fix anything technical. So that's good. I want to talk about Donald Trump a little bit, running for president of the United States. Now, you folks have a double standard out there in podcast land, in these United States of America, in these Western nations and society. You have a double standard, and that shit pisses me off. And I'm gonna tell you why it pisses me off. Because you know, I saw the movie Time to Kill, and I read the book first, and I saw the movie, and I enjoyed both by John Grisham. And how the lawyer in A Time to Kill was able to get a conviction, or to get not a conviction, but to let Samuel Jackson, to get him off free. I think that's who Samuel Jackson was in this movie, Time to Kill. But how he was able to get this black man off for killing a white person, he got the jury to imagine if it was a white girl had that, all those things, those atrocious things, beat her and raped her and treat her like she was just a piece of meat. Had it been a white girl done like that, and he got them to close their eyes, and he said, "Now imagine us a white girl, folks. Imagine had Barack Obama done anything Donald Trump did." You white folks will be up, you'll have your drawers, your underwear bunched up in your behind, because there's no way you will allow for a black person to run for office, especially the highest office in the land, President of the United States. He been indicted in the Southern District of Florida. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got 40 and 30 cases. He's already been indicted in the state of New York for trying to bribe somebody, about to get indicted in Georgia, and about to get indicted again. He received notice from the special counsel that he could come before the grand jury and speak. This is in Washington. This is dealing with the insurrection on January the 6th. And he probably will be indicted on the possible charge of a conspiracy to interfere with a free and fair election. And among other things, Jack Smith is notorious, not in a bad way. He is good at what he does. He's meticulous, and he's more dangerous than Two Better is with that hammer and building a house. He's more dangerous than I am with a pen, bro, Fred. I'm telling you, that man is awesome. He's done an excellent job. And look, I like Donald Trump. I like him so much, I might even vote for him if he go to jail. Two Bells, so don't play, bro. I'm just telling you the truth. Who else got Slow Joe? You know, Dice said something about Joe Biden. But what I don't like is that, look, just like it was hard for you to say President Obama, it's hard for me to say President Biden. Look at what Joe Biden is doing. He's shipping all that money, all those weapons over into Ukraine. A cluster bomb is very dangerous. I didn't get a chance to finish talking to you about it last week because I was basically ad lib, impromptu, speaking from my heart and speaking from my mind. But a cluster bomb explodes up in the air, and it let out a cluster of bombs over a wide area. And not all of them, they say at least 5%, but up to 20% of those that are dropped on the ground does not detonate upon dropping up there. What's supposed to happen is that they supposed to blow up and explode. Please do not turn the TV on. They supposed to blow up and explode over a wide area, but it does do that. And years later, decades later, they blow up and they explode and they kill innocent people. So Joe Biden is sending those to the Ukraine. They're fighting a proxy war. What they're doing is testing their weapons. They're getting rid of their old weapons, such as the F-16. The United States is replacing them with the F-35. So what they're doing is they're testing Russia, seeing what Russia, believe it or not, in my opinion, and based on my research, is that they're testing their weapons. They're getting rid of the old weapons, dilapidated weapons that don't work, and they're testing their new weapon. They're testing and seeing how Russia respond. They want to see how Russia fight a war. They really want to inbox enclose Russia like they done North Korea. And I gotta say this, folks, I'm an American and I love America, and I love my country, and I would not do anything to harm my country, folks. Our country's evil. It is. It's in everybody's business. And we hadn't won a war. We're always going to war, but tell us, what war have we won? We didn't win the Korean War. We didn't win the Vietnam War. We didn't win in Iraq. We didn't win in Kuwait. Afghanistan. None of those places. Syria. The United States have not won a war. They go over there under the guise of want to promote democracy, and look at what kind of damn democracy we have in America. When we vote for people that don't care about us or have our best interests at heart. But we have a democracy here, but we promote democracy, and all these homeless people, all this money you send into other countries trying to control what they do. It ain't about that, folks. It's about the industrial the military industrial complex that make all these weapons, these people that make all this money from selling those bombs, making those bombs, those planes and those tanks and those trucks and all these military hardware. This is what it's all about. And they get kickbacks from that. So we have all these people that's supposed to be in a democracy for the people, by the people. They don't do anything for the people, with the people, or by the people. They do everything for those special interest groups, for themselves, for their family, and for anybody that got the most money for them. And we got to get away from that. The only way we get away from that is we got to clean house. But again, you again, who will you follow? Now, they supposed to have a meet and greet last night, and they did not. Ted Reynolds said, continue to do what you've been doing. Wow, really, Ted? Ted, now you know I like to have a lot of respect for you. You ask me on several occasions on how can we make a difference? Get rid of them people that you keep putting in there. When you see things that are wrong, when you see people are not going according to the Democratic bylaws, kick them out. The Republicans will kick them out. You know, and you're not doing that. And you all now, you keep putting people in office and you look at them doing it. You look at how they vote, how they react to things, the things that they're building, the things that they're tearing down, the things that they're not building. Now, I'll say this is that it's sad. My wife and I went to downtown Birmingham when we first came up this way. It was months and months ago, probably maybe about 3-4 months ago. We wanted to find something to do. All the places that in 2016, when I lived up here, all the places that I could go to and I could see, I could always go downtown on certain parts of downtown, and I could walk and I could see Black folks going to the different venues and the different Black clubs. How about it's not like that now? Wild Wolfing, that's his name, is doing a great job. He hadn't done anything great for us. He did it for them. And that's what's unnatural. It's unnatural. Old Steve on Django Unchained is unnatural. What Clarence Thomas is doing is unnatural. It's unnatural for that nigga to vote against his kind and everything that's going to promote his people and help his people secure a place in this country that's going to be fair and non-discriminatory. He used that to get where he is, and what that nigga doing is unnatural, it's illegal, and it's unethical, and it's against the law, and somebody should put his behind in jail. The Supreme Court justice, the reason why they want to attack Clarence Thomas is because they are complicit in this also, because they themselves, when you look, even those so-called liberal justices are taking money or getting those perks of the Supreme Court. I don't think anybody should get a permanent job. I think they need to be vetted, just like a yearly evaluation. If you have an employer that hires you, he's going to evaluate you and he's going to give you a pay raise or he's going to fire you. But you get to move along based on merit, and nobody should get a lifetime appointment. They need to do away with that on the federal level. There's federal judges and Supreme Court judges and appeal court judges. They get a lifetime appointment by the president there. And the presidents have been cherry picking these people that have these extreme views, whether they're liberal or conservative. Views should not be extreme, and no man has a right to tell a woman what she should do with her body. No person has a right. Now, I don't promote homosexuality. I don't have a problem with it. I don't. I have a right. If a person want to have a woman friend or a man friend, have it. Que sera, sera. Shit, I tell you, you know, but we have too many, but those are sidebars. Those things are designed to sidetrack you, to get you away from the real issues at hand, so that you cannot see what's going on, so that you cannot see them stealing and enriching themselves. Now, I'm going to get back to Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump, the reason why Donald Trump is running for president, he don't want to make a difference in your life because he didn't make a difference in your life the first time he was president of the United States. Now, he did more for Black people than even Barack Obama. Now, that's just the truth. If I'm wrong, then y'all challenge me and tell me that. And good evening to you, Fred. Y'all tell me that. If I'm wrong, tell me I am wrong, that Barack Obama did more for Black people. The first Black president or the first white president, call it, if they claim him, we can claim him because he's half and half. So, but either way, you know how it is. If you got an percentage black in you, you're black. And so he's black, but he didn't do anything for black people. Did not at all. Not one thing. Only thing he gave us was bragging right. Oh, wow, we got our first black president. Wow, our first black president, Donald Trump, did more. He did things that Barack Obama did not do. And I gotta tell y'all this. Donald Trump, that's a bad man. Donald Trump is the baddest. You know, if I could curse, I would. Too bad, bro. You've been cussing all the time. Donald Trump a bad MF. I'm gonna just tell you that. I ain't gonna even hush my mouth. That's a bad man. Donald Trump don't give a damn about what none of y'all think. He did what absolutely the hell he wanted to do. That's the reason why he want to be president of the United States. He don't want to make a difference in your life. He want to go there and get his retribution. He gonna kick your ass. That's what he gonna do. Everybody that's messed with him, he gonna come back and get them. He gonna end the investigation, the court cases, and all that. He'll fire everybody. He can fire everybody. He can even replace those judges. He'll fire them, and he ain't got to put his people in there, and they'll say, dismiss the case. If they dismiss the case, what can anybody say? If the case is dismissed against Donald Trump, what can any of you say or do? Nothing. That's why he want to be president, to make all this go away. And he's angry as hell. He mad. And he definitely gonna allow for anybody to. And I don't think it's good planning. I think he might have some mental issues. It's mentally ill, crazy. Me too. So I don't mind. It take crazy sometimes to deal with crazy, but I can tell you this is that there's no way that he should be president of the United States, and I'm gonna tell you why. Joe Biden should not be president of the United States, and for the reasons he's too old. He's spending too much time focusing on foreign affairs and not enough time dealing with the problems in America. If you look at the homeless situation in America, it's atrocious. And out in Arizona now, it's just too hot in Arizona. So all that money that they're sending and spending over there in the rain, Ukraine, wasting it, money in all these countries that are so far away, even money in Syria, Afghanistan, all these places that they're sending money there just to promote the American way. Now that's quote unquote when I say the American way, because the American way is not my way and it's not your way. It's their way. It's like the Southerners that was fighting in the Civil War out there getting killed for Mr. Bilbo to get rich and make money, because they didn't make any money. It didn't affect them. It didn't benefit them at all. And that's what's bad. And so Donald Trump want to be president again so he can make all this go away. But again, I ask you, white folks out there that's saying Donald Trump is being mistreated, change him, take him out of his shoes and put Barack Obama in those shoes. Would you actually say the same thing? But Barack Obama couldn't even turn the corner. He couldn't say or do anything. And he was so pleased, and he should have been bad like Eddie Holder, Donald Trump, because a lot of, I tell you what his name, Garland would be Supreme Court Justice now, not them other people. Man, I would have gave Mitch McConnell a heart attack. I bet if you don't sit your old ass down and go somewhere, man, and let me get my groove on. Donald Trump didn't play. He got everything that he wanted and did exactly what he wanted to do. Donald Trump, you almost my hero. I was telling y'all that they canceled their next meet and greet. And I don't know whether this was a Democratic thing or not, but Ted said to keep on doing what you're doing. And he's saying, don't be fooled about voting. He said some people are trying to get folks to vote in the Republican primary. Well, I'm trying to get you to vote in the Republican primary. If you listen to me, I say vote. And I say vote. If you think that if you're concerned about who you want to be sheriff, then you should vote in the Republican primary. You should vote in it. I'm gonna vote in it. And I'm continue to do what I've been doing. So thanks for that advice, Ted. I want to say this is that up in Kemper County now Kemper County, and since I'm talking about Jefferson County, United States, by me having a podcast, I can talk about anybody I want to. Now, I don't think that, and I'm gonna keep talking about this. Share more. I know you probably won't watch my podcast, but some of you people will watch it. What you're doing is misuse of a government procedure, and what you're doing is not right. There's no way that Fred Welch should still be dealing with a felony from, let me count. I don't think I have enough fingers. The felony is about 7 years old. Well, it's 6 years old. 7, 8, 15, 20. If it's more than 3 years old, it's too old. If it's more than 2 years old, it's too old. The reason why I'm telling you it's too old is because it's not fair to a person to have charges. That's the reason why I have a speedy trial. It's not fair to a person to have charges hanging over their head for so long. And now they said 270 days. Now we talking about almost 2,700 days. Tool Belt, that ain't right. Tool Belt said, bro, did you add that up right? No, I did not. But I could add it up right if I want to. But either way, you're talking about a lot of time. And it is. It would be more than 2,000 because you're talking about 365 days in a year. So you're talking about really about 2,000 days or more. More. There's no way that anybody should be forced to fight for their life for that length of time. So that shows that somebody got a personal feeling. So that's one of the things that we have was wrong in the Black community and the Democratic Party is that the Democrats are wearing the feelings on their sleeve. Now Republicans stick together. I like that, but I don't know one to have their feelings on their sleeve. Well, me and Solid used to go head to head, but he always so respectful to me. If I ask him to come on my podcast, he'll come. I don't think I'm gonna come. That's what the Democrats say. No, I ain't coming to that. I don't like what they say or something. Like, see, Democrats wear their feelings on their sleeve. That's the reason why we ain't got shit. I'm sorry. That's the reason why y'all ain't got nothing. And you know what? I gotta go here and talk about a couple of things here, right? I want to talk about the NAACP. Y'all know that the NAACP is merely a token organization that have moved away from the original concept. They're irrelevant. And now, one time I got into it with the president of the NAACP, the late Obie Clark. And what I said back then is that, and Roger Druid, me and him talked about this, and he said, and we concluded that the NAACP could once again be a viable organization. However, at that particular time, it needed a more progressive leader. There's no way the NAACP will ever be a viable organization. That's no longer applicable. And the reason why is because they're too radical. The mission now, it used to be to secure civil rights for colored people, but under the current leadership, it's not like that. The mission is to secure political, education, social, and economic equality of rights for all persons and to eliminate race-based discrimination for all people. Did you know that they ordered telling Black people not to go to Florida because lesbians, the LGBT community, and Blacks were being mistreated and other people being mistreated in Florida? Did you know that Hispanics, the Asians, and the Native Americans, they still promote only their group? They don't promote everybody like Derek, whoever it is, Johnson, I think that's his name. That's president of the NAACP, and the chairman of the NAACP still lives in Florida. So how you gonna tell people not to go to Florida and you still living in Florida? Wow. But then that's not good anyway. How is it a threat for me to go to Florida? It's no danger for Black people to go to Florida. It's just that the NAACP is trying to be relevant, and they're not. They're no longer relevant. It's merely a token organization that people use to generate soft money, grant money, and build their homes and ride in their fancy cars because they ain't doing shit for the Black community. And it's time we get away from that. So again, who will you follow and why? Will you follow the Democratic Party? Why? Why? What have they done for you lately? Will you follow the Republican Party? If so, why? I can tell you why. I hear too better, man, bro. You show need to be quiet. I ain't gonna be quiet too, Bill. But one thing I can say is that so-called leaders today, such as Aaron Shopton, such as Jesse Jackson just now retiring, folk. They say that you could hardly hear him speak, that he's barely inaudible. Why would anybody sit and stay in a position of power and authority? He could even walk around. He could no longer bang his fist on the table. He was just that weak. I'll tell you why. because it probably paid him $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year to be in that position. So he's not going to give it up. So money and greed keep our so-called media appointed leaders in position of power authority. They don't care about the interests of me or you. If they are, tell me what they are. What have they done for either you or for me? Only thing they did is continue to sell us out and turn their back on the very people that they supposed to represent, the very people to put them in office. Now you're going to see them going around to your churches. Another institution that has been detrimental to the black community. Churches in the black community, not the white community, because you go to a white church on Sunday. Oh, Lord, it ain't nowhere to park. Don't let it be election time or something else they need to talk about, such as a bond issue. Wow, it ain't nowhere to park within 4 or 5 blocks. I've seen it with my own eyes, and you have too. But you go to a black church on Sunday, 3 or 4 cars outside. None. You go inside of the black churches, and you got one on every corner. Sometimes ain't nobody in there but the preacher and his secretary, or the first lady, or the preacher himself. It's a few. There's always deviation of the norm where you're going to have a few. They're going to have about 30 or 40 people there. But not in the white churches. They know how to saturate power. We don't. We dissipate power. They know how to come together. We can't come together. We wearing our feelings on our sleeve. We still fucking with people like Fred Welch 5 years, 6 years, 7 years later. Look at what me and Lo had to go through. A Democrat, a black man had his police force charge us. Then you got Tybell Lindsay and Ramonda Walker on the city council in Meridian, Mississippi. Shoot, they ain't doing nothing for their constituency. I don't think they make about $22,000 a year. Too bad that's $22,000 too damn much. They don't need nothing, not one penny. George Thomas should have took his ass home a long time ago, but he there making sure people like Ramonda Walker and Tybell Lindsay do what he tell them to do. Democrat, Ted Reynolds, why you ain't kicked their ass out the party? It's easy to do. They violated tenets of they have a constitution. You don't have a local one. That means that you have to go by the state constitution. If the state don't have one, you got to go by the Democratic Party constitution. Shirley Jackson need to go to. That's what I'm just told. Tell it. Shirley Jackson, you need to go to. All these people to get in there and don't do their job and do what other people tell them to do, or doing what somebody, perhaps maybe Miss Jackson, I don't know for sure, but I'm opinion that she does whatever James Moore want her to do, and the sheriff should not be running the county. He should be running the sheriff department. He should not be telling other county employees what to do and when they do it. And when a person get that kind of power, they've been there too long. I'm going to tell y'all a true story. A lot of y'all know I've been to prison before. And if you're in prison and you're able to get things done within the organization in the state of Alabama, at the time I was there, they say you were heavy. They had an inmate in there that had a lot of influence among the officers. He could come and go wherever he wanted, please. He was never locked up, and he could get anything he wants. So he ate whatever he wanted, did what he wanted to do. He could get things done. And so the Warren found out that he had that kind of power. That Warren came in there and took that Negro and sent his ass to Atmore and locked his ass down. He said, no nigga should have that kind of power. And same way in public office. No nigga should have the kind of power where he can tell other elected officials what to do. No man should have the kind of power where he can take and use his office and arrest a man that does not have any evidence against the man, and then still 17 years later, don't do that too bad. I looked away at Tube Belt. I think I heard him talking about, I can see him and I can hear him talking about, bro, you just said 7 years. 17, 7, same difference to me. Too long is what it is. It's too long for a man to have that. And then the Cassie, now you always seem to do the right thing. Doing the right thing in this case would be to dismiss this charge because you don't have a victim. You don't have an injury. Fred Welch did not own the truck. Fred Welch did not have his name on the insurance. He could not benefit from it. So how can you tie him into this thing other than somebody still pushing this is something. All arson charges that I know that people have had against them have been dismissed. Except the longest one I know is Alma Dean's had one, and they kept it for about 3 years. The late great Stuart Parrish, I'm gonna say great because he was good at kicking their behind downtown. He got it dismissed, but it took about almost 3 years. But for Fred Welch, now we're going on into this past this October, you'll be going into the 7th year or the 8th, or like I said earlier, or the 18th. Either way, it's too long. So that means somebody don't like the man. Because if you had evidence, you don't wait 18 years to get a conviction. And the judges most certainly, in my opinion, should be removed off the case because they done things that showing themselves to be biased and showing themselves that Mr. Welch couldn't even get a fair trial dealing with the judges. And that's both Judge Baylor and Judge Wright. Now, y'all done heard me speak favorable of both of them. Now, I have my issues with them, but we have the evidence where they have not been favorable or they have, in my opinion, broke away from the judicial canons. And I ain't saying this because I'm in Mississippi. I'm saying it because that's my belief. If that's what I believe, then that's what I believe. If I think you broke away from your judicial canon, then I have an option to either file. Now, I don't have any issues with Judge Wright with dealing with me, but I have issues with some of the things that he's done to my brother there from another mother and another father. That I do, because you hadn't been following the tenets of the law. There's no way the sheriff should be able to get the DA to not dismiss a charge. There's no way the sheriff should be able to get the judge to be able to do anything. If a judge is doing what the sheriff tell him to do, or if the judge don't like the person that's standing before him, then either the blindfold that you're supposed to have saying that justice is blind, that's some bullshit. That lady can see. And she can see through that. That just look like it's dark, but she can see. But it's supposed to be blind. It's supposed to be unbiased. It's supposed to be fair. And everybody asking for no special treatment. Fred ain't asking for no special treatment. He's saying follow the law, not your emotions, not your. I ain't gonna give a damn if you don't like him or me. Do your damn job. If you mad about shit, pull that damn badge off and bring your ass out there and square the shit up. Shit, toe up like a man. You can get in the boxing ring. They done it before. But to use your power to try to send a man to prison just ain't right. That's what happened to me. That shit wasn't right to me. I'll talk about that alone. And remember, every group, they have mission statement. If they have organization that's specific to their particular group. They ain't reaching all out trying to, but I don't see no color. Or we gonna because blacks should not go to Florida because it's hostile against blacks, the LGBT community, and other individuals. Wow, man, that ain't your job, Derek Wallace, Johnson, not Derek Wallace. I know him. Derek Johnson, I think his name is, president of NAACP. But the NAACP, don't y'all waste your money. Don't sense join that. They ain't doing shit. Don't join them. I want to talk about this now. You know, our mayorship is coming up, and it's gonna be, the mayor race gonna be coming up. You know, it's like off. So this year, I think this is Jimmy, second or third year next year. So, you know, when 2 years come, it's going into the last 2 years. So they'll be running for mayor. So everybody will be announcing around January, February next year. But I want to say this, let's assume that it'll be head to head. I heard some of you talk, and that's y'all saying the wrong shit. If it's head to head between Jimmy Smith and Percy Bland, then damn it, Percy Bland, he just like Donald Trump. He got his ass kicked up out of there. Percy Bland got kicked up out of there. There's no way he should be. Y'all talking about let him come back? You got rid of him. You fired him. Why'd you bring him back? If I'm at your place, I ain't doing nothing but lying, cheating, and stealing, and you fire me because I'm lying, cheating, and stealing, then you want to bring me back? You tell me what kind of sense does that make? I ain't gonna do nothing but lie, cheat, and steal again. Now, Percy really does not live in Mississippi. He live in Alabama, in Hoover, Alabama. He come down there on Sunday and go to church. He come down there and keep his business going. But there's no way y'all better get at that nigga's ass like he got at me. Send his ass, tar and feather, and send his ass to Alabama permanently. If he start that shit over here, Alabama ain't playing with him. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He could never run for public office in Alabama. No, Jimmy Smith, I don't care now. Now, under Percy Bland, you had Percy Bland. Jimmy Smith got a black chief of police. Percy Bland had a few. But under Percy Bland, you had a white police officer you had a white man that was the chief of police killing his white officers, was killing black folk. The harder dude won. Levi Gill got the hell beat out of him by Chris Reed and others. The guy from Cuba, Alabama. And you had Gary Barber that was killed by a white man, and he get a promotion on the Percy Bland. So you had one black person get killed, but he was killed by a black man. He wasn't killed by no white man. If I want my mama to whoop my ass, I don't want nobody else to do that. I want my mama to beat me. My brother can come and talk to me about anything, but some of you can't come up in my face and talk to me about certain things. So you understand where I'm going with that? It's okay. It ain't okay for nobody to kill anybody. But if I gotta die, then I want my kind to be the one to kill me, because I can't assume that you're killing me for something in the past because I'm a black man, or because you got mad at me because you could not catch me. You got mad at me because I would not stop. The harder dude, I forgot his first name. He was killed on North Hill Street, and then they took him up there and put him in that apartment, an empty apartment, and say he hung himself. And he ain't but 5'6", and the ceiling ain't but 5'5". Two Bill, tell me how I do that. There go, bro. Again, my point of it is, if you go out there and do the investigation, look at it. They knew you weren't gonna go out there. You got to look at it. It would have been nearly impossible for him to do that. So my opinion that he was killed. Now I'm understanding. We have evidence. We have a witness at that particular time that stated to the family that he was killed on North Hill Street and brought out there later that day, like he missing, and he gonna go there and hang himself. Gary Barber was literally killed by that man, and they covered it up. All this on the Percy Bland. Not to mention the drugs that came up missing and ended up back in the community. Not to mention the fact the person living in an old $50,000 house, Tool Belt. And when he became mayor, after he'd been there about a year, he bought Rosenbaum House and then spent about $200,000-$300,000 remodeling it. Well, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but not by much. And so that's just not right, folks. So why would you even allow your person gonna come back? He gonna come back and try to take away your issues. Get Tool Belt. So why you telling Tool Belt a person? All right, he's likable as a person. If you gonna talk with, sit down and drink a beer with. So my brother Wayne would have did that, because I don't drink beer, so I ain't doing that. Or my father-in-law Charlie, now he would have drunk a beer with him, but of course he ain't here either. But my point of it is, it's okay to sit down and talk and kick it with him, but he does not need to be mayor again. He had his shot. And then Jimmy Smith, if he want to run again, let him run again. No, I don't like everything he's doing, but I ain't nobody gonna like everything everybody doing. So he would get my vote. Yes, he would get my vote. So I'm already promoting him whether or not he run or not, because in my opinion, if it's a three-way, if it's a race, if Ron Turner ain't gonna beat Jimmy Smith nor Percy Bland, Ron Turner gonna make it be a runoff, or be Percy and Jim again, and I'm gonna call it Percy Jimmy too. It'll be a runoff, and Jimmy gonna whoop him again, because I'm gonna be there to make sure he do. There's no way we need to go back and we whoop that nigga this time. That's like putting tar and feather on his ass and send him out of town, because then that means that we let him know that you bamboozled us once, even a second time, but I would damn if you'll do it a third time. Sent your ass home, we're gonna leave you home. Ain't nowhere in the world that we need to go back to Percy Bland. Let Jimmy get 4 more years if he want 4 more years. Shoot. Go ahead, Jimmy. Go for it. All right, folks. I want to talk about a couple of things more before I close out. I want to talk about, can you love someone too much? And yes, you can. You have to be careful not to smother your love. What I mean by that is that it's kind of like if you putting gravy on meat. If you put just the right amount of gravy on that meat, it's gonna taste pretty good. But if you put too much gravy on the meat, that meat ain't gonna taste good. So you have to be careful not to smother your love. You can care too much, and if you sometime when you care too much, you'll pay a price for caring too much. Okay, so here's how you can tell if you love. You would agree with everything that person say. Nobody agree. That's one thing that people don't like about me is that I'm not gonna agree with you, just agree with you. I can tell you that's one thing that Fred and I don't agree on everything all the time. But that ain't never just made, hey, that just create more respect. And me and Two Bell sure ain't gonna agree with everything. And Donna Lee up here up there in Birmingham, definitely ain't gonna agree with him all the time. Now I call Donnelly, that's my baby brother Kirk. Now my dad. We ain't gonna agree with everything. And you start neglecting your own growth, yourself, your own self growth, your own self development. When you get to the point where you focus more on another person's development rather than your own, then again that would show that you're smothering too much love on that person. And a lot of times we do that with our children. We smother them too much, and our children growing up not launching, they fail to launch because we smothered them. We didn't allow for them to self-develop, self-actualize or to develop themselves. And so we ourselves have to be careful that we don't um, destroy, ignore our own self-growth or self-development. Sometimes when you smother a person with love too much, you can expect too much from them, and expecting too much also, that's another indication that you perhaps loving a person too much. You care way too much. Sometimes you can just overwhelm a person with caring about every little thing, every little misstep, every little thing they do. And so that in itself is too much gravy on the meat. And another thing too is that another way you can tell you'll be taken for granted. And you can tell when you're taken for granted because the person doesn't modify their behavior, they doesn't show you the proper deference or the proper respect. Uh, and and love is truly blind because when you love too much, it does blur your vision. And I thought that I'd talk about that, and I want to say something on a down note. First of all, I want to thank all of you all for watching and share my podcast and tell people to look in that I'm back. And I yesterday was July the 18th. My sister Rhonda called me and she said, "Bro, I'm just checking on you. Hadn't heard from you. I wanted to hear your voice. Just wanted to make sure you're okay." Also, my daughter, Korea, and my daughter, Katara, sent an unusual text to me just to say they love me. And so it still never dawned on me what yesterday was. And so my sister, after as we end the conversation, she was the last person I talked to. She was saying, "Daddy, I'm not dad because my son he was standing by me when my sister said, I just wanted to make sure you're okay because you know what today is." And so because I know what today is, and so then that's when it dawned on me that 3 years ago and a day, my daughter Korea died. Under strange circumstances. And so, like, I don't really think about it a lot. And the reason why I don't think about it a lot is because when I do think about it, it floors me. And so, even 3 years later, it is difficult for me to like um talk about it or not talk about it, but just think about it because, like, I don't know how y'all see in my eyes. Like when I think about it, immediately my eyes fill with tears, and so it's something that I have very good education, and I've learned to um, dismiss negative thoughts from my mind. So I've learned to do that. I learned not to think on things that are negative and things that are bad. I learned to always think positive, and so I'm very good at that because of my education and my experience. And Minna Hope, bless her heart, Minna Hope was a good mother. She had, I mean, that woman when she didn't like my dad. My dad didn't hardly talk. But one thing my dad never did is he never criticized my mom or any of his siblings or anything like that. If my dad didn't talk much, but he blew the hell out of a harmonica. But one thing that he did do, if he said something, he didn't say a lot, a simple sentence. And but he said something meaningful, and he always said something encouraging. And my dad had dyslexia, and I never knew that. My brother Henry has dyslexia. I have a grandson that has dyslexia, and I have a couple of my children has a type of dyslexia. And so, but either way, my daughter career has been 3 years, and I think about it, it makes me angry. I am not, it's things that happen in my life that's been bad, and I don't dwell on the bad things. And but when I think about Korea, that's when I have a problem with can't wait to I die, uh, because I'm gonna go to heaven. I'm trying to get to heaven where all the streets are paved with gold and the pearly gates. Well, I don't care about going to heaven to see no streets of gold or pearly gates. The only thing that I'm only thinking about now is that I know that I'm gonna ever see my daughter again. And so it ain't nothing anybody can tell me when I'm gonna see her again or anything like that. And so like but anyway, it's the anniversary of my daughter's death was yesterday, 3 years ago, and it saddens me to think about it. I miss my baby. I do. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for watching. There's no comments on there. I just want to thank you all for watching and listening. Encourage somebody to watch and listen. I want to say this too before I go because I hadn't said anything. Again, I want to say that don't forget to that I'm not supporting any Democratic candidates. I'm just telling you that now. I'm not supporting. I don't think that Gerald Johnson will beat either Ward Calhoun or Ricky Roberts. But there's no way that Gerald Johnson should ever be sheriff of Lauderdale County because I remember when he was a police officer, we grew up together and he cracked our heads and he didn't last long because you can't go around cracking people's head and think that you're going to last long in law enforcement. So he didn't last long in law enforcement. If he, at his age, had he been a stellar officer, he would be a police officer, captain, or something like that now. So I don't know what his platform is, other than he ain't never been convicted of felony. I don't know, but I just know he hadn't been a police officer that I know of in a long, long time. And in my opinion, that's by not by design, but it's by choice and by his actions. Again, I've talked to Lo, and Lo and I had a pretty good conversation. And while my heart reached out to her and everything, and I hope she win her election. I really do. I'm supporting Michael Evans, and I'm still a supporter of Ricky Roberts. Also, I am an avid supporter of Wayman Newell for supervisor, District 2. That's y'all next supervisor. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for listening. Bye, Rhea. Bye, bro, Fred. I'm trying to find this little button here. You know what? If KQ was right here. Oh, there it is right there. Y'all have a good evening. You know what? I know. I want to say hello to Body Snatcher. And I want to say hello to Shot Caller. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.